I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. Matter of fact, I didn't even know this person was associated with the Karen Reed case. I have no idea what they're talking about with Karen Reed. It had nothing to do with Karen Reed. No discussion
Did
about
you
Karen.
tell Officer Dever to do the right thing?
I didn't know she was even associated with that case. So, I don't know. I was struck. Like, what do I have to do with the Karen Reed race? I never have said those words together. I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. I was in the state of Michigan. So,
Thank you.
I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. Matter of fact, I didn't even know this person was associated with the Karen Reed case. I have no idea what they're talking about with Karen Reed. It had nothing to do with Karen Reed. No discussion
Did
about
you
Karen.
tell Officer Dever to do the right thing?
I didn't know she was even associated with that case. So, I don't know. I was struck. Like, what do I have to do with the Karen Reed race? I never have said those words together. I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. I was in the state of Michigan.
You can watch that all day. That is such a great clip. Uh, denial, denial, denial. We know it's been pretty much proven that he was lying there, covering up. And now he's caught again. Now he's caught again. What's up, jerks? This is wild. What a wild it's going to be a while, a couple weeks. I'm looking forward to this week. Looks like Brian Walsh is going to be jury selection. I think there's a hearing tomorrow. We'll try to stream that if there is on Monday. And then it looks like Tuesday, jury selection begins for Brian Walsh. We'll definitely be covering that because Proctor is going to be involved in that. You know it. And there'll be Miles King hearings coming up soon. But this upcoming week on Friday, we have a Karen Reed civil trial hearing. The following week, we have a Kelsey Fitzsimmons Superior Court, Essex Superior Court in Salem. There's going to be so much to cover. I'm really kind of looking forward to this. And this is just a new scandal that just dropped on basically Friday. I heard about it first from Howie Carr. He hit me up. He's like, you got to check this story out. You need to cover this. So we're covering it today. He wrote a blog about it. Again, Commissioner Cox, again, covering up for shady things going on with Boston police officers. And it's just unbelievable that he keeps getting caught. And how long can he avoid this? Like, when is the Boston media actually going to do their job beyond like Howie Carr? Like, where are the rest of them? Is the Globe going to cover this? The Herald? I'm sure the Herald's on it. But what about the Globe? Today we're doing something different. We're doing something new and different. It's like a pilot. It's our first time doing this. I don't know if it's working, but StreamYard now lets you go horizontal and vertical. Horizontal is the traditional way that we've always streamed on YouTube and Twitter and other places, but there's also the vertical, which is big on Instagram and like TikTok, and it now probably going to allow us to stream on there. I'm going to have to figure that out next, but we tried it today on YouTube. It allows you to stream both ways. So we have like two different feeds, two different chats going right now. We're just trying it out. It's what YouTube and StreamYard now recommends. So you either have the full screen or you have the vertical screen. I'm watching both, which is interesting. We've never gotten a donation on the horizontal screen. No gifts yet. Rubies, whatever they call them, jewels. I don't know. We're waiting to see who's going to give us the first gift on our, what do we call that? The vertical stream. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see if this is the only day we do this. I want to know what you think if you're watching it on the vertical or the horizontal. Which one do you like better? It's interesting to see how they lay it out differently. Yeah, hit likes on both of them. Oh, thank you, Law Wifey 25. Thank you so much for the super chat today. You gave us jewels the other day. I don't think you did because that's like new for us. Like we just, huh? Because I just turned it on when the horizontal thing. I don't think you were able to give jewels. Maybe you gave a super sticker or something like that. See, I'm not even sure what they'll come. Oh wait, no, that I think that's a regular super chat. Yeah, Lisa just gave a super chat. Thank you, Lisa. Very much appreciate. I hope you're doing all right. You've got a lot of health issues with the. I'm praying for you. Thank you, Lisa. I really appreciate your support. Thank you, Alex, as well. Thank you for all you do. I really thank you. Thank you for all these super chats coming in. Joe Biffle is impoverished, but he's got plenty of jokes. Joe, we just count on you to give me a bunch of shit on here. You're the only one I never have. I wonder if I have. I probably have for a moment even got mad at Joe Biffle. I'm wondering. Have I ever gotten mad at any of your comments, Joe? I'm just wondering. Have I ever got punked by you? Mostly, I always laugh. I love Joe Biffle. Usually when he's going after me. That's yes, he's rich in humor. We need that. We need that in the world. And you're not trying to be mean to people, except maybe me. And you are a huge supporter. That's true. Thank you. All right. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna you know what? Let's first look at this how we actually no. I want to play this. Friday, I had a great time again at the Grace Curley show hosting. It looks like it's my final one before Grace comes back. I think she's coming back next week. I'm looking forward to seeing that. So my run is done over there. It was fun. It was like, it's amazing, especially that the fact that they let me program the show. Like, that's my strength, is the guest and the guests that want to come and have conversations, whether it's on the Young Jerks or the Grace Curley show. And that's why it was like a true honor to do that on the Howie Carr Radio Network, for them just to let me invite whoever I wanted and get those guests on there and give them an opportunity to almost have a tryout. I wonder if Grace will kind of book some of them going forward, because we had some really great guests on there, and I will help her if she wants any of them. She knows that. But I really enjoyed all the guests that we got to feature on the Grace Curley show over the last months, like attorney Martin. He's amazing. Brother Counsel, the judge. Then I got so many influential people hitting me up because of Judge Erskine. Like when Judge Erskine came on the Grace Curley show, that was a big one. Uh, Nan Gallagher this week as well. Gator Boy. I could go on and on. There's been so many good guests on there. So I'm really thankful that I had that opportunity, and we'll see what happens in the future. I may do a vacation day here and there over there, but nothing scheduled, no stress. That's the thing for me too. I gotta say, it was a little uncomfortable. It was a little stressful, but I like that. I always do a challenge, and that's why I had to do it, especially knowing that I was going to be able to bring these guests onto that show and get a wider audience and help some people. So it's been a great experience, and I'm so thankful that they let me do that. So I want to thank Howie Carr, the mailroom manager, the whole crew over there at the Howie Carr Radio Network, and Grace Curley. That's where it got started. Grace having me on her show. Yes, yeah, it's fun. It is fun to hear it back. It's funny though. Sometimes I'm a little. I'm not gonna feed the trolls, but it's just funny. I'm very critical, self-critical myself, just as much as anyone else. I love Judge Erskine. Yes, I love her too. Somebody said someone gave me a really good compliment, but it was kind of a dig. It was funny. I actually removed it just because I'm just like, I don't want shade on stoners, especially because of me. But this woman, I think whoever posted on YouTube, this is the only kind of troll comment I'll address today. Promise, because it's a funny one. And it was because it was kind of a compliment about me being hosting the Grace Curley show, and they said, you do so much better when you're not stoned. Like, they're basically thinking that I'm always stoned when I'm doing my show at home, I guess, which it's not really true. I don't really get stoned. Like, cannabis doesn't do that for me. More likely is I'm exhausted. When I do those nighttime shows, like especially the last couple weeks, I've been slammed again with doing dog walks, and it is physically tiring. And then when I do shows later at night, I'm exhausted, and when I'm exhausted, my speech impediment. I grew up with major speech impediment, special ed. My brother is younger than me. He used to communicate for me as a child, but my IQ tests high, so it is a true issue that I have always had, And the fact that I can host a show is awesome. Like, it just shows you can do anything, even with like some type of speech impediment, you can overcome it, all that. But when I'm tired and stressed, that's when it comes out more. And earlier shows, I'm more chill. I'm just have more energy. Like today, I'm at home. I feel good today. There's just no stress. But it was kind of a compliment because I think whoever that troll is, or whoever that judgmental person on cannabis actually enjoyed me on the Grace Curley show. So I appreciate the comment, and even though I did delete it, because I don't want shade on cannabis users, especially medical ones. There's a lot of people who use it for medical reasons, like I do. I've had cancer. I got the bad back nerve injury. So I just don't like. That's why I took it down. It's funny because sometimes people post comments and they'll attack me, but they'll attack somebody else, like a guest or anybody, even other show hosts. And those are the ones I will immediately take down. And it's not even about me. Oftentimes, it's about I don't like seeing people get bashed, especially when they don't really deserve it. You want to come after me? Come after me. All right, enough of that. Well, all the stoners are coming out in the comments. I like that. Thank you so much. Yeah, no shade on us, right? No shade on you. Joe feels attacked today. Oh, sorry, Joe. Ah, poor Joe. All right, let's get let's have fun. This is what I want to play though. Grace Curley show the other day. The crossover. I get to introduce Howie Carr talking about his latest story, which you're going to put on the screen. I'm going to go through the documentation of the lawsuit that was filed as well. But this is what we got for like 2 minutes, Howie and I, live on the radio together. Some of my friends call me up after this. Anytime I'm on the air with Howie Carr, even for like 2 minutes, people call me. They're like, dude, you're on with Howie Carr. That's what happened for the 2 minutes I was on with Howie. So we're just going to play that because this kind of it gives you an introduction of what we're talking about today.
And now we bring on Howie Carr. How you doing, Howie, today?
Very well, Michael. Thank you. Thanks for filling in.
Thanks for having me. And I just was looking at your new column. We have another police scandal in Boston.
Looks that way, doesn't it? I mean, there it looks like Cox and his crew, Phil Owens, his superintendent in chief, are trying to prevent one of their pets from getting fired. He's got a record as long as his arm, and they were asking a 34-year veteran, a captain, to downgrade the charges so he wouldn't get decertified by the Post Commission. And I got the guy's entire record, and it's pretty amazing the stuff he's done. And they're protecting him. They're protecting him. Guy sends out a couple of tweets on January 6th. They try to fire him, and this guy is doing everything imaginable, insulting homeless people, using sirens to take people home, consorting with unsavory characters, as the state police put it, known criminals in another part of the documents. He's allegedly stalking a woman that had to go through the metal detector at police headquarters. He followed her out to the car. This guy's a bad guy.
Yeah, he seems like a little bit of a gangster.
Yeah, he does, and he doesn't show up for work. And he calls in sick when he has no sick days. Then when he's out on a sick leave, they got him on a motor vehicle violation, a tinted windshield, again a gangbanger like thing. And he goes into court, even though he's on workers' comp. He goes into court in his uniform to try to get the case dismissed. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff on, and why is Cox protecting this guy? Why did he protect that guy Tristan Campagni, who was involved in the car chase that ended up with three kids dead on Morrissey Boulevard?
Those are the questions that need answers. Coming up, Howie Carr Show. Thank you, Howie. This is Mike Crawford. This is the Grace Curley Show.
it's me with Howie Carr, the crossover on the Grace Curley show to the Howie Carr show. I was a little every time I get on there with Howie, I get nervous. Like he came on my show a couple times. I'm chill as can be mostly, but when I'm on like with him, I'm listening back to that. I'm like, holy fuck! I was the best segment of yesterday was Nan Gallagher, and it was quick and perfect. And it's Friday actually on the Friday show, and it's because I'm you can tell I'm very comfortable with her. I've been interviewing her a lot in the past. Where with Howie, I'm still freaking nervous, especially when it's on his network. It's funny. Yeah, I have respect for it. I got a new hat on today. I went to an art show on the North Shore in Beverly, Massachusetts, a town a city, call it a town, but it's a city I'm very familiar with. Played sports there a lot. Uh, Started my life there, So when Dave Tree told me he was coming up for an art show at Bridge 9 Records, which is a kind of a long running records, they got a big story too about the Yankees suck and all that. And it was great to check out their venue in Beverly and go check out an art show. And I decided to buy this hat. This is a hat that they have basically designed. Believe in Boston. I love the hat. I do. I believe in Boston. So I got the hat. I got a new Tree shirt. I'll probably wear that on the show upcoming too. And went out and supported him. I made a little video about him because Dave Tree and I, in the past, about 10 years ago, maybe even longer, probably about, I'm wondering how long. I should look that up. It's probably 15, 20 actually. I don't know. Time flies. But we did a video a while ago, decades ago. We'll just say that, decades ago. Dave and I did a video. And it was basically him painting a house. Dave's a worker. He's always been working. He is an artist. He paints houses sometimes, but he also he's a professional artist, professional musician. He's run and managed and been the lead singer for the band Tree for decades, or legendary band from way back. People know them. And I did an interview with him one day while he's like painting a house about his fictitious run for mayor of Boston. And he basically had if I'm recalling it correctly, I think he had two platforms. One was free the cannabis, which back then was illegal. And Dave and I worked that out, and we got it free. Like you can buy it at stores. It's all legal, even though they're now trying to take it away. We'll probably cover some of that upcoming. How they're trying to take away the tax revenue and make it illegal again. But Dave and I worked on that and got that done. But the other part of it is he wanted free transportation, especially for students, musicians, artists, bartenders, and especially 24/7, because a lot of the nightlife closes too early because the tea closes too early. And a lot of times the restaurant workers get stuck and they get mugged, they get robbed. There's violence that happens late at night because they don't leave the restaurants until after the tea's already closed. So, especially for working class people and especially for musicians, he always wanted a 24/7 tea service, and he wanted it to be free. And I think it's a great idea, a great investment. I think it would spur nightlife, entertainment, artists, creative economy big time. I think he's got a point, especially with students. We have so many students in the city of Boston, so many colleges. So I would love to see that. And he promoted that. And the funny thing is, Mayor Michelle Wu basically used that. She basically, I don't know if she heard Dave or somebody else, but she basically used his platform. He said she stole it, but she didn't actually implement it. She pretended she did a couple pilots, but what has she actually done? And he was calling her out, and it was fun to do a quick video, like a follow up to his initial campaign video. And Dave is like a cultural, spiritual leader in Boston, so it was fun to get to hang out with my friend and do that quick little video. We may play that at the end of the show today, but we're talking about this Boston Police Cox. It's another scandal. Yes, it is. Let's bring this up on the screen. I want everyone to take a look at this. This is Howie Carr's latest column. And let me make sure I'm going to post it in the chat. I think we might have pinned it, or I think it's in the video description today. But if people haven't seen this, I'm just going to post this up from Howie Carr's website. So if you want to read along, but it's also on the screen, obviously, if you want to check that out later. Right. And this column that was also in the Herald, but it's also on HowieCarShow.com. Boston bad cop blues lands in court. Why does Boston Police Commissioner Michael Cox keep trying to protect certain very dodgy police officers, at least if they happen to be a certain type of cop? Yeah, I think the type of cop is you're either part of the gang or not part of the gang. I kept using the word gangbangers because I think some of these cops, like if you go out in LA, they actually have cop gangs. They get tattoos. It's been reported. It's been broken. They have different actual real cop gangs. And in Massachusetts, I don't think they actually have what we call like cop gangs with the tattoos. I've never heard that. I wouldn't be surprised. But it seems like there's like one gang, and they're all in on it in Massachusetts. And it's the way business is done. And you're either part of the gang or you're not part of the gang as a cop. And if you're not part of the gang, you don't get promoted. And that's just the way it is. And that's why I call it cop gang banging. Because some of these cops, that's what they act like. They don't act like they're cops. They act like they're gang members. And this guy, Brian Augustine, was stopped for drag racing in Revere. This guy's drag racing. You're a freaking cop and you're drag racing illegally in the streets of Revere. Here's a quote. I don't understand this officer's behavior. It's scary. It's worrying, concerning, intimidating at the very least. Feels and seems extremely racially biased and driven and extremely uncalled for. Put his hand on the gun and then told me, get the F out and to pull the F over. Those are some of the quotes in this little caption lead piece here. But, I want to highlight basically here. I'm not going to read everything in this, but according to the law, there's been a lawsuit filed. It's basically a 34-year veteran of the Boston police. He's a Boston police captain, was filing a lawsuit against Cox and the BPD in which he accused them of trying to force him to broom one of many cases against Augustine. So basically, this is a police captain and the Boston police who's suing the commissioner and suing the Boston PD because of this cover-up of the behavior of Augustine. And this isn't like a rookie cop. This is a cop that's been there for 34 years. And what is it about? It's because they wanted to reduce some disciplinary against a cop they wanted to protect. Let's read more of it. According to the lawsuit, it was so that Augustine's certification with post commission. They wanted to cover it up with the post commission. And basically what happened, according to the suit, this police officer who was doing the disciplinary report got a call from Commissioner Cox, Superintendent in Chief, Phil Owens. And Phil Owens told him he was calling on behalf of Cox. Owens asked him to basically reduce the charges against Cox's pet, Augustine. Do you see what's going on? It's basically a cover-up. This guy did some bad shit. And they were like, no, you got to reduce it. That's too much. You got to protect this guy. And these are all the incidents. I have the lawsuit too, but Howie's got it. This is what I like. Howie's got it just what we need to see here. In 2020, he was stopped for drag racing in Revere. It is alleged that Officer Augustine was in the company of unsavory characters And he gave the trooper a hard time. Great guy here. Great guy. In 2020, it was stated that Officer Augustine always uses profanity while speaking to him at Eggleston, where he and his girlfriend hang out based on the fact that they are homeless and have no place to stay. A review of Officer Stanley Pina body cam showed Officer Augustine threw the citation at the homeless man. So there's a complaint about homeless people from homeless folks who were abused by this guy. In 2020, a tractor trailer was having a traffic issue on Washington Street. Driver asked for help, but Officer Augustine did not respond. The complainant then approached the cruiser, window open, and asked the officer if he had heard the truck driver's request for assistance. According to the complainant, Officer Augustine replied, "Go F yourself." Then he drove off. Really protecting and serving there. In 2022, calling in sick when he had exhausted his sick time and vacation time. He failed to report for work. He was AWOL for the tour. Officer Augustine has continually demonstrated a lack of attentiveness towards his time and attendance as a Boston police officer. His current pattern is evidence of complete unawareness of total disregard for his actions, placing his fellow officers and the unit at risk. So basically, here's a complaint here that he doesn't show up for work. He doesn't care. He's not attentive. And he's placing everybody, all the other cops, at risk. In 2022, again, another complaint. Woman leaving police headquarters says cop on metal detector told her she looks familiar. Then he followed her to her car, asked her personal questions regarding her background, expressed that she felt the officer was flirting with her, making her feel uncomfortable. I mean, what a creep. Imagine you're a woman leaving the police department, and the cop doing the metal detector decides to follow you to your car and ask you a bunch of inappropriate questions, and you feel like he's trying to hit on you. That's creepy. Creepy. In 2023, while out sick pending a workers' comp claim, not surprised yet. I wonder what this workers' comp claim was about. Augustine showed up in court to defend himself on a motor vehicle citation in a Boston police uniform while off duty concerning a personal matter. This is so... You never do that. If you're a cop, you don't show up in your uniform for a personal issue before a court. Additional, Sergeant DeFeo claimed that Officer Augustine fraudulently obtained the inspection sticker for his motor vehicle. The sergeant recommended that charge be investigated by the BPD's anti-corruption unit. How do you fraudulently obtain an inspection sticker? And why? Why do you need... It's not that hard to get an inspection sticker. I think I got failed for emissions last time. And you just got to wait, you just got to drive the car enough to, pass it the next time. Like, what is the deal? What is the deal? OCL case Stuffy asking about the two streams. We kind of explained that at the beginning. This is a pilot. We're trying it out. It's now recommended by YouTube and StreamYard. They added a new option where you can do a vertical stream on YouTube as well. And some other places will probably do Instagram and TikTok if we can get in there as well. But it basically you can do it either way, the vertical way or the old traditional horizontal. So we're trying it out on YouTube today. That's why you see two chats and two different versions. It's kind of interesting. And I've seen other streams doing it now too. So it's the biggest issue I think on this is the mods. Like the mods are going to have a hard time keeping track of two two chats. But I can watch it from here on StreamYard. But no, I'm not always watching. So, but whatever. And like I said, this is just a test today. I want to see how it works out. It looks pretty good actually. And I wonder if I wonder if some people like it better the traditional way or the vertical way. We should put a, you know what? We'll do that. We'll put a little poll maybe. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But let's get back to this. I still can't get that he showed up in a police uniform for a motor vehicle citation. That's embarrassing. And it's really stupid too. In 2024, Officer Augustine gave off-duty Officer Fabian Bastillo and civilian Gabriel Abisu a ride home in a marked BPD cruiser from the Seaport Division to Bastillo's home with the lights and sirens activated. Oh, dude. I mean, it's one thing to give him a ride home. I don't see that's a big deal, honestly. I don't know what the internal, and I don't know where he drove him home to. I don't know where Bastillo's home is, but the lights and sirens activated in a non-emergency situation, that's ridiculous. That's what you would think. I wonder if 2024, that's recent. You would think he would have noticed when Rachel Rollins got in trouble for that shit. Like, dude, dumb. Again, this guy is not, he's pretty dumb. To repeat, most of the more serious charges were downgraded, but many of them were in one way or another sustained. Two more complaints against Augustine remain pending. At Guggen's suit was filed, Cox suspended Augustine for 30 days with 15 working days to service without pay and 15 working days held in abeyance for a pay period of 1 year for misconduct. So basically, he's got 15. He lost 15 days of service without pay, and he's got another 15 days that will be held up for a year if he's still around in a year. Big deal. According to the lawsuit, Goggins suffered retaliation because the case he declined to sweep under the rug dated back to 2018 when Augustine was still a probationary police officer and then had less job protection. So basically, this police officer said, "No, I'm not doing what you tell me to do, Cox, and your little underling. I'm gonna file the correct report against this guy." And he suffered retaliation. That's why he's suing. And this is what they did to him. To punish him, Goggins said the breast slow walked his promotion to captain and assigned him to a toxic work environment, the operations division. You imagine that? Like, you've been there for 34 years. And now these sons of, you know what, are holding up your next promotion. And then they assign you to the worst place you could, be, right? In a toxic work environment. Usually when you're 34 years in, you have some say on where you get placed for work. You want to be in a place that's, you're older. You don't, when you're 24, you can put up with a lot of BS. I don't know how old this guy, but I'm guessing he's about 60 at least, if not older. He doesn't want to be in a toxic work environment. That's why he's suing. This is what they did to punish him. This is how the system works. It's subtle. They don't come out and tell you in writing. They just say, "Oh, by the way, we're gonna actually we need you over in the operations department." Cox suffered another legal setback in his double standards of meting out discipline last week. That defeat occurred in a federal case involving Officer Joe Abasino, who was forced out for tweets he made on January 6th, 2021. Now, for this guy, I don't know all the details on that, how he's a little more political about this stuff, but I don't like people losing their job just on tweets. It would really have to be like way out of line for me to be happy about that. I think folks like that should generally be more like looked into to make sure that they're doing proper police work and that the politics aren't influencing the way that they do police work. I think they should do that with all police. But what goes around comes around. You know, and you're seeing other school teachers lose jobs for tweets about other things on the other side that were probably just as inappropriate as what this guy posted. And I don't think people's blanket should be just lose their job because they had one bad day and one bad tweet. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. So I think it depends on what he actually posted and what kind of officer he is. And I think that should be the same for the school teachers too. Like, it should be about your overall record, you know? But this guy's overall record, this Augustine, that he's getting all the coverage, his record don't look too good. Oh, here's more about it. Cox fired the MAGA cop, but last December, the Civil Service Commission overturned the BPD's decision. The BPD appealed to get rid of the Trump supporter. See, there you go. The Civil Service Commission overturned it. Probably not a good reason to fire that guy who's a MAGA cop. Like, I generally think the Civil Service Commission is going to do a good job on that stuff, and they did. So they overturned it. The judge said Cox doesn't get a second bite at the apple because the case had already been fully litigated at the state level. Yeah, it is interesting. Howie makes a great point. Interesting how Cox apparently was desperate to protect Augustine, who had real issues, but he wanted to fire this other guy for political speech. Does say a lot, no matter what side of the aisle you're on. I'm more worried about how they act in public and how they treat people than what they tweet privately. You know what I'm saying? It just so we can take a look at this lawsuit, but I think Howie basically cut right through the chase. I don't think we really need to read much more on it. But the big thing on this is look at this. Boston Police Department, City of Boston, Michael Cox, Philip Owens, right at the top. Sorry, I didn't put it on the screen. Here it is on the screen though. Name's right at the top of the lawsuit. This is another scandal for Michael Cox, and it's the same pattern, right? Covering up for the good old boys, the network. You're either protected or you're not. Why is he protecting this Augustine guy from the Post Commission? Why does he want to keep him on? You know? And why does the mayor of Boston not say anything about this? Because this is the second time this guy's been caught with the Deaver situation. And now this. This is the second scandal in a row. Same old, he's getting involved in shit that he shouldn't be involved in. Right? And it's dishonest. This guy needs to go. Michael Cox needs to go. This guy needs to go. And if he shows his face in public, people need to ask him these questions. If he's on the Jim and Marjorie show on Boston Public Radio, WGBH Radio, sometimes they do the call-in shows. I don't know if he does them, but the old police commissioner used to go on there and answer telephone calls from callers. If that happens, people need to ask him about it. They need to say, "Hey, shouldn't you be resigning? Did you cover up your conversations with Deaver and influence her testimony in a murder trial of a Boston police officer? And now you're caught up trying to fix this thing for this buddy of yours, Augustine, trying to change the findings, pressure the person who's doing the review. Really shady stuff. People need to ask him those questions. Yeah, there's something going on. Something's up. Why is he protecting this guy? Yeah, you know what? Let's give I don't think Diva was 100% act like I don't know how to say this. I don't think she was 100% truthful. Let's put it that way. But I think she was more truthful than Michael Cox, Like she said more about it than he did. And I've always felt like I felt bad for her. I know a lot of people don't feel bad for her, but I do. Who I don't feel bad for is Michael Cox. Because he's the dude in charge. He's the dude who set that up. He's the dude who ruined her career. She should sue him. If I was Deaver, I'd be suing Michael Cox too. I bet she is. I bet she's getting ready to sue him. Just like this Timothy Kagan. If I was her, I'd be looking up whoever Timothy Goggins' attorney is. I'd be calling them right now if I was Devers. Because Michael Cox cost her career. Yeah, she should have. She should have, but she was in a tough spot. And most people don't do the right thing in these situations. The pressure is just too much for them. They're not used to it. She would have been a hero if she did. But I got to say, she told more truth than Cox did, right? Like who would you trust more? I would trust Devers more than Cox. I mean, that's saying a lot too, right? Let's see who his attorney is, actually. Let's see if it lists it. He's got CMBG3 Law, PC. Oh, they're on State Street, 53 State Street. I used to work down there, the financial district, when I worked at Pioneer. 53 State Street, 13th floor, Boston, Mass. Looks like a big law firm. Some exhibits in writing here. That's what I'm skipping through the lawsuit. I just want to look at the exhibits. It's Philip Owens. Play this one more
I
time.
have nothing to do with Karen Reed. Matter of fact, I didn't even know this person was associated with the Karen Reed case. I have no idea what they're talking about with Karen Reed. It had nothing to do with Karen Reed. No discussion
Did
about
you
Karen.
tell Officer Dever to do the right thing?
I didn't know she was even associated with that case. So, I don't know. I was struck like, what do I have to do with the Karen Reed race? I never have said those words together. I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. I was in the state of Michigan. So, I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. Matter of fact, I didn't even.
Oh, he thinks it's so funny. He thinks like if he's making people will just laugh it off. What a dummy. This guy, look at him. Oh, this is so funny. Let me laugh this off. Like, oh, I didn't see a Bigfoot.
know this person was associated with the Karen Reed case. I have no idea what they're talking about with Karen Reed. It had nothing to do with Karen Reed. No discussion about
Did you
Karen.
tell Officer Dever to do the right thing?
I didn't know she was even associated with that case. So, I don't know. I was struck like, what do I have to do with the Karen Reed race? I never have said those words together. I have nothing to do with Karen Reed.
So the name's John O'Keefe. Have you ever said the name Officer John O'Keefe? Do you know who Officer John O'Keefe is? Do you know where Officer John O'Keefe used to work? What about Brian Albert? Do you know Brian Albert, Mr. Cox? Did you know where Brian Albert used to work? Those are questions he should answer. And what about this Augustine character? And what about Devers after we know that you've been lying? We know that this is lies. What's really going on, Michael Cox? Michael Cox, are you about to resign? Are you writing up your resignation? Has Michelle Wu talked to you about any of this? Or is she just covering up too? Do you have her so in your pocket that she's not even asking? Like if there's any sanity left in Michelle Wu, which I don't believe there is, she should be asking you to resign right now. She should be asking you to write up your paperwork. Figure out how you're gonna pass it on to one of your junior guys next couple weeks. Clean out your desk. And if there's any journalists left in Massachusetts that work at like the news networks, like, TV or the Boston Globe, you should be asking this guy those same questions every day. Shouldn't have to come from people on YouTube. Shouldn't have to come from us folks calling into radio shows that this guy actually appears at. I shouldn't have to drive down to the Boston Police Department and stalk this guy. You guys are supposed to do that. You're the real professionals. Let's see the professionals do some actual work for once. I got to say, the professionals did get us this. I think this was David Bienick. He's gotten some shit, but he's done some good work actually. So I like to see more of that. I like to see more of people asking him about this stuff. Let's play it one more
in the
time.
state of Michigan.
I love this. I could play this all
I have
freaking
nothing
day.
to do with Karen Reed. Matter of fact,
Nothing
I
to
didn't
do
even
with
know
it.
this person
I
was
didn't even
associated
know.
with a Karen Reed
I
case.
never seen that.
I have
You know what it reminds me of? I did not have sexual relations with that young lady. I never saw her. I never had a cigar around her. It reminds me of Bill Clinton. This is like a Bill Clinton denial. I never had any relations with that lady. I didn't know anything about Karen Reed. I don't even know who Karen Reed is. Fucking guy. He thinks it's funny too. He thinks he's gonna laugh it off. Like, oh yeah.
No idea what they're talking about with Karen Reed. It had nothing to do with Karen Reed. No discussion
Did
about
you
Karen.
tell Officer Dever to do the right thing?
I didn't know she was even associated with that case. So, I don't know. I was struck like, what do I have to do with the Karen Reed race? I never have said those words together. I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. I was in the state of Michigan. So, I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. Matter of fact, I didn't even know this person was associated with a Karen Reed case. I have no idea what they're talking about with Karen Reed. It had nothing to do with Karen Reed. No discussion
Did
about
you
Karen.
tell Officer Dever to do the right thing?
I didn't know she was even associated with that case. So, I don't know. I was struck like, what do I have to do with the Karen Reed race? I never have said those words together. I have nothing to do with Karen.
Also reminds me of Trump and Clinton. I didn't know Epstein. They're gonna be saying all that shit soon. I don't know Epstein. I didn't know him. I wasn't that close to him. That's the new one. People are asking me to actually cover that Epstein stuff. I might. I mean, that stuff is just wild. I think there's going to be a lot of big names coming out, and it's not just Epstein. It's not just one person. Let's put it that way. There's been rings of this stuff for a long time, and it's getting exposed. Another big gang. There's a lot of different big gangs out there. But locally, yeah, Wu and Cox got to go. But Wu's not going to go. She just got reelected, unfortunately. But Cox needs to go. And we need to actually, I think, if you're a citizen of Boston, contact the mayor. Say, what are you doing? Get rid of this guy. Yeah, we're going to let's keep it going on loop. This guy needs to be on loop. Put him on the loop. I love it.
I was in the state.
I
of
didn't know her.
So,
He was in Michigan.
nothing
You
to
don't
do
know.
with Karen Reed. Matter of fact, I didn't even know this person was associated with a Karen Reed case. I have no idea what they're talking about with Karen Reed. It had nothing to do with Karen Reed. No discussion
Did
about
you
Karen.
tell Officer Dever to do the right thing?
I didn't know she was even associated with that case. So, I don't know. I was struck like, what do I have to do with the Karen Reed race? I never have said those words together. I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. I was in the state of Michigan. So, I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. Matter of fact, I didn't even know this person was associated with a Karen Reed case. I have no idea what they're talking about with Karen Reed. It had nothing to do with Karen Reed. No discussion
Did
about
you
Karen.
tell Officer Dever to do the right thing?
Someone wants to know my concerns with Mayor Wu. I mean, I have a lot of concerns personally, and I don't like how she handled the sound museum with the musician rental spaces, and The whole way that was handled, I did not like. I feel like it was a city of Boston takeover of like basically a private business, and it jacks up cost, and it pretends. A lot of the things that she does, I feel like are performative, and it's a lot of control. I could go on other things, but I think this whole Michael Cox thing is another good one. There's a lot of issues like that that I've seen with Mayor Wu. She also gave $50,000 to the nonprofit, the guy who's suing me, City of Boston. There's a lot of little things like that get at me about Wu. I also think she's thin-skinned too. I think a lot of the pushback that she gets from the more extreme, it's because of the way she's handled it and treated them too. I'm just reading your comments right now. All right. Let's play it a little more.
I didn't know she was even associated with that case. So, I don't know. I was struck like, what do I have to do with the Karen Reed race? I never have said those words together. I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. I was in the state of Michigan. So, I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. Matter of fact, I didn't even know this person was associated with the Karen Reed case. I have no idea what they're talking about with Karen Reed. It had nothing to do with Karen Reed. No discussion about
Did you
Karen.
tell Officer Dever to do the right thing?
I didn't know she was even associated with that case. So, I don't know. I was struck like, what do I have to do with the Karen Reed race? I never have said those words together. I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. I was in the state of Michigan. So, I have.
I could watch this all day. Like I said, Kelsey Fitzsimmons coming up. We're gonna have a great hearing coming up at the end of this month on the 25th. I'm gonna be there. Hope to see all of you there. Some of you, if you want to wear purple to show support, that's the color. But looking forward to November 25th for Kelsey Fitzsimmons. Looking forward to the Friday civil hearing for Karen Reed. Hopefully we'll be able to stream that. I heard it's a Zoom meeting that could make it a little more complicated, but we're going to do our best, hopefully, to stream that on Friday. There's a Canton Select Board meeting on Tuesday. Brian Walsh coming up for a trial. Jury selection this week. We may be streaming some of that at the end of this week. We'll see. There's also, I think, a hearing for Brian Walsh tomorrow, which hopefully we'll try to stream that. So there's a lot upcoming. I'm just doing like I said, a quick show today. I love doing the less than 1 hour and just covering this one topic. But there's a lot more upcoming because Kelsey Fitzsimmons right now, she may be out pretty soon. We're within the 10-day window. There's a 10-day window waiting for the DA's office to respond to the SJC full court filing that her defense made. And as soon as the DA's office makes that filing, the SJC has the ability to review it all and make a ruling. And so we're hoping for a ruling like in a week, maybe a couple weeks on Kelsey Fitzsimmons, maybe by the 25th. I mean, that would be amazing. She may actually be out by the 25th. We'll see. But keep your fingers crossed for Kelsey Fitzsimmons. And the other one I want to just mention today is this Eddie O'Brien thing on the JFK show. JFK show off. He's just killing it, man. If you're not watching that, you're missing out. I'm a little behind. I was in most of those chats watching, and they've done such a great job. I think I'm leaning towards free Eddie O'Brien. I still don't feel like I know enough, but god damn, amazing work, JFK, Kev, the crew over there, JFK show off. I love it. Congrats to them, and I'll be catching up with them watching. Oh, look at Kevin. Kevin from South Boston says JFK is great. But you were calling into a show. Come on, Kevin. Kevin from Southie, you called in. I thought you as a decorated guy would only call into shows that you respect. Come on. You think Adi? Oh yeah, Adi is a liar. Is that what I'm hearing? Yeah. JFK's stream was fire last night. See, I got to catch up. I kind of took a night off. I was just chilling. We got disclaimers. You know what? You know what I was doing last night though a little bit. Even though I was trying to stay. I was trying to take an entire night off. I was still editing videos, but I was watching some of the Runkle stream. I want to also know how much Runkle raised last night because I was watching them. They were, I mean, that is impressive what he does for 24 hours, raffling off items for charity. It was fun to watch, like to see the different items. It was, and to watch Uncivil Law. That dude, he can sell. He is like the way he was selling Kirk. Oh, it was funny. It was great to see. I heard they sold off some ties from Alessi and yeah, that was it. Just last night, they raised $90,000 last night. Wow, 91, amazing. I think his goal was 100, but 91, like that's amazing for a children's hospital. 92, they're saying. See, yeah, that was so. I didn't bid on anything, but I was supporting. I was posting some comments and I shared it. Ah, look at this. Artie admitted last night that he's been lying to us and then said we're just going to say he's lying. Oh boy, I'm going to have to watch last night's episode, it sounds like. Did he call in again last night? Is that what you're saying? He called in again last night? It's amazing that they get people to call in. It's funny how everyone doubted that Kevin from South Boston called in. Brian Higgins, aka Brian Higgins. I believe that was Brian Higgins. And it just shows the power of the JFK show because now he's got this guy Artie calling in that probably should have been calling in, honestly. It's unbelievable. So I want to say congrats to Runkle, Uncivil Law, and everyone else who participated in that fundraiser for the children's charity last night. That was amazing. Yannetti and Alessi raffling off their ties. And that was amazing to see and hear, and all the people who contributed. And also to the JFK crew. Really? I'm going to have to go watch the replay. And the beautiful thing is JFK will just that's what I love about JFK too. He'll repackage it and replay it over and over again. I love it. I love what JFK does. He's so good at it. I want to thank my super chatters. Thank you. I'm just a girl in the world. She gave a super sticker today. I want to thank Alex. Thank you so much. And Lisa, of course. Thank you for your service too. And Law Wifey 25. Thank you so much for the super chats tonight. I don't know if we got any rubies, or I don't even know how many people are watching on the horizontal versus the vertical. It doesn't tell us on YouTube. And I don't know if they actually come in on StreamYard. This is all new to us. We're trying this pilot out for the first time. But it looks like we got a good number of viewers on YouTube and Facebook as well. I want to thank our Facebook people and our Twitter people as well. We've been actually doing better numbers on Twitter and Facebook recently too. So thank you so much for that support. Jen Fox says, love your content. Thank you so much for being a member. I saw a comment in here saying that I should do something so I could get more viewers, which is, that's not kind of how, I don't know. I don't do things to get more viewers, you know? I'm happy with the viewers I have. I love my viewers. We got a good number. No guest, last minute show. I am happy with the amount of viewers we have and who we have here. Facts. We're gonna wrap it up. We had a good, quick show. 1 hour. I love it. Yes, free Kelsey. We are going to be going all out free Kelsey. Yeah, you know what's funny about the Eddie O'Brien case is when it was when the trial was happening is when I lived in that area. So it's interesting to me too. I'm just reading the chat before I go here. One more thing. Oh, my team's coming through. It looks like my fantasy team's doing pretty well today. Good. I needed that. I got like I'm doing pretty well. I'm in fourth place out of 10 teams, but I'm up against like one of I think the best team actually this week. And it could be a loss for me, but I'm competing. I'm competing. My team is holding up today. Fantasy football. No money on the line. It's just family bragging rights. Which is more important than money, actually. Because Thanksgiving's coming up and Christmas, and there's a lot of crap that's talked about our fantasy league. All right, I got a Venmo contribution today from D. She said, "Keep up the good work. We support you, Mike. Don't let any of this crap get to you." Thank you so much, D. All right, we're good to go. I want to thank everyone who's here watching and supporting. I hope you have a great Sunday. And we're gonna continue to cover all of this corruption with Cox and what's going on in Essex County with Kelsey and the Karen Reed civil trial. And hopefully Kelsey is home very soon for the holidays, back with her mom in her mom's house. That's what I'm hoping for. Thank you. Trust is love. And thank you, Kathy. Yeah, JFK is the real deal. I love JFK. Real dude. Good at what he does too. Um, Something else I want to play. Let's just play one more time on the way out. Let's play this guy one more time.
Nothing to do with Karen Reed. Matter of fact, I didn't even know this person was associated with the Karen Reed case. I have no idea what they're talking about with Karen Reed. It had nothing to do with Karen Reed. No discussion
Did
about
you
Karen.
tell Officer Dever to do the right thing?
I didn't know she was even associated with that case. So, I don't know. I was struck like, what do I have to do with the Karen Reed race? I never have said those words together. I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. I was in the state of Michigan. So, I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. Matter of fact, I didn't even know this person was associated with the Karen Reed case. I have no idea what they're talking about with Karen Reed. It had nothing to do with Karen Reed. No discussion about
Did you
Karen.
tell Officer Dever to do the right thing?
I didn't know she was even associated with that case. So, I don't know. I was struck like, what do I have to do with the Karen Reed race? I never have said those words together. I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. I was in the state of Michigan. So, I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. Matter of fact, I didn't even know this person was associated with the Karen Reed case. I have no idea what they're talking about with Karen Reed. It had nothing to do with Karen Reed. No discussion about
Did you
Karen.
tell Officer Dever to do the right thing?
I didn't know she was even associated with that case. So, I don't know. I was struck like, what do I have to do with the Karen Reed race? I never have said those words together. I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. I was in the state of Michigan. So, I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. Matter of fact, I didn't even know this person was associated with the Karen Reed case. I have no idea what they're talking about with Karen Reed. It had nothing to do with Karen Reed. No discussion
Did
about
you
Karen.
tell Officer Dever to do the right thing?
I didn't know she was even associated with that case. So, I don't know. I was struck, like, what do I have to do with the Karen Reed race? I never have said those words together. I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. I was in the state of Michigan. So, I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. Matter of fact, I didn't even know this person was associated with the Karen Reed case. I have no idea what they're talking about with Karen Reed. It had nothing to do with Karen Reed. No discussion
Did
about
you
Karen.
tell Officer Dever to do the right thing?
I didn't know she was even associated with that case. So, I don't know. I was struck, like, what do I have to do with the Karen Reed race? I never have said those words together. I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. I was in the state of Michigan. So, I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. Matter of fact, I didn't even know this person was